follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul. You make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks, you're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There is no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, there's no better way to show your love. When you can't be there with iFollow. Follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul.
It was the late show on Saturdays for Hiri Okenabiri's late strike earned a point against Sunderland in Sky Bet League One. Just 3 days later, Darren Moore's side go up against Blackpool at the Keepmoat Stadium, with the Seaside as one of the form teams in the division at present. It's Doncaster Rovers against Blackpool from 7 p.m. Good evening and welcome back to the Keepmoat Stadium, and thank you for joining us for our pre-match build-up to the game against Blackpool in Sky Bet League One. Joining me once again, Doncaster Rovers reporter for the Free Press Liam Hoden and Rovers defender Andy Butler. Hodes, looking back, it doesn't seem too long ago at all, just a few days since we were here, and didn't seem like Rovers were going to get anything from that game, but they showed great fighting spirit to get a point in the end.
Yeah, very difficult first half on Saturday, not penned deep into their own territory, struggling to get out. Opened up a bit in the second half, but you still didn't really feel like they were going to get back into it. But then, never say die spirit. We've seen it before. Saw it in the last league game down at Wimbledon, and yeah, brilliant to pop up and get what will be a valuable point.
A brilliant turn from Brad Halliday in the build-up as well. I'm not sure if he meant that turn on the defender through his leg, but it was great to watch.
Absolutely superb. We've not seen that before from Brad, but brilliant, and a great ball over that caused problems and led to that goal.
But a frustrating afternoon it must have been for you as well from the bench watching on. What was the message at half-time from the manager? Because in that first half, Sunderland got about us and really got on top in the game.
Yeah, the manager and Civi both came in at half time, and we threw little tweaks in formation and how we're going to allow them to have the ball a little bit higher up and not go press, because they seem to pick us off in different pockets. So a little bit of a tweak, and I thought second half, and like I say, credit to them and the endeavour and the character of the squad and the team, they kept plugging away, and a little bit of skill from from Brad, which we now called a holiday turn, set up a good chance for Faye. So yeah, the game was tough and it was frustrating, but like you said, it's an important point because it keeps them pegged back to wheels now. Not giving them 3 points at our place. We're still got a good decent point here.
A lot was made of the way Sunderland maybe nullified the threat of Ben Whiteman. How much was the onus on people around him, the likes of Matt Smith, who ended up having a role to play in the goal as well, to find a way through Sunderland's sort of rigid defence?
Well, yeah, that's something we might come up against now. Teams may see Ben as the player to stop. So again, we look at rotations and see things we can do differently. Can we overload in different areas? And that's something that we'll look to work on. But you're right, players then have to realise if Ben's being marked, well, I should be free, and I've got to trust myself with the ball, and which they do. And like I say, they found ways to get around it. Ben himself, even though Charlie White marked him, he still found little pockets of space to pick up the ball. And like I say, when Ben's got the ball, he's a danger to the team. So it will be now looking at other teams whether they can stop him or not. The
tests keep on coming, Liam. Blackpool, the next one's tonight. A team who are right up there at the minute in terms of the form table. The result they got on Saturday at Peterborough, probably their best of the season so far.
Excellent result on Saturday. They took a bit of a while to get going this season. A lot of people tipped them as dark horses, mainly because of the business they did during the summer, but they've certainly got going recently. 5 wins on the trot, and the pick of the bunch, as you say, on Saturday against Peterborough.
Particularly that forward line of Medine and Yates as well. Both got goals on Saturday. Seem to be clicking at the right time, heading into a really busy schedule of fixtures.
It's not a bad forward line, really, is it? Jerry Yates on good form over the years, and we know what Gary Medine can do. Has been a difficult player to handle at the level above this one, so it's always going to be a tough test.
But when it's such a short turnaround, how much training can be done and how much of the preparation is done sort of in the video room, watching analysis of how Blackpool like to line up and what we can do to hurt them?
Yeah, that's what you do. You get the players in now to do a little cool down and go through little bits of shape from yesterday. But with the COVID, you can only do meetings of 10 minutes, so it throws a spanner into the works from that. So you've got to cram as much information as you can into the 10 minutes, which the gaffer and Stevie do really well. So again, it's all about looking at Blackpool's strengths, Blackpool's weaknesses, where we can expose them, what they might do. Like I said, they've got a good forward line, so the defenders have to be on top form, like I thought they were again on Saturday.
You mentioned meetings there having to be short and sweet. How many of those meetings did you have when you were in caretaker charge a couple of weeks back?
Well, four, yeah. So no, I really enjoyed that time. My work with the Bells obviously helps me out. I try and bring that into the Bells side with the meetings and the information we give them on, pass them on, so it's professional as we can be. But no, with the first team, enjoyed it. The gaffer asked me to analyse both games, so I did both post-match interviews for FC United and the Wolves game. So all the points that were given to the players were from myself, and now I've got to do a presentation for the gaffer and Stevie for all the points. So you go through a game, and it might seem easy, but it takes about 8 hours to go through one game, especially when you just sat at home thinking, should I write that down? But no, it's something I really enjoyed, and it's something I'm looking to do from now on.
How pleased were you with the reaction of the players, and how much does it say about the mentality of the group that they just got on with things? It was a quick turnaround from the Wimbledon game, and it all happening with Darren and the staff having to isolate a game live in front of the TV cameras on the Saturday, and they just got about the business and got the victory.
I think it shows you the recruitment that the club have brought in, the character of every single individual. No one sulked, no one did anything other than act professionally as they could. Even Nick Buxton came in with me, and he was a little bit nervous, he'll admit it, but he said each player came up to him and shook his hand and welcomed him in, and he really enjoyed that. And he said to me just on the phone earlier to say how the players responded to him and how they acted around him was a credit to themselves, because it is pretty easy to step back a bit when the manager's not there, but the staff around the gaffers that they've got as well, we've got Rob, Alex, Matt, the 2 girls who cook the food, everyone's on the same page, so it's easy if someone steps back, we've got other people to step into it.
Mentality key then, and mentality key on Saturday as well, as Rovers got a hard-earned point against Sunderland here, and here are the best bits. Okenabiri's late goal then earning Rovers a point, but at the other end of the field, Liam, Joe Lumley came in after just one day of training with the club and looked really good.
I think he looked really assured from the start. He's got a big physical presence. He didn't have a massive amount to do in terms of stuff that we're going to want to tax him, but the stuff that he did have to do, he did well. And there were no chance of saving that goal from Sunderland at all. But strong in the air, got behind the shots well, and incredibly vocal. I don't think he shut up for the entire 90 minutes, but great to see, given that he'd only been in for a day.
He came across really well in the post-match press conference as well, didn't he? Not afraid to have a laugh and a joke with people he didn't even know.
No, a really confident lad, which again, that's exactly what you want with somebody that's coming in and being thrown into the thick of it really, really quickly. So, no, he did come across well in that, and it looks like he might be around for a little while.
But how much of a part did Tom and Joe have to play in sort of making him feel assured behind him? It must have been difficult for him coming into a team where, I think he was asked after the game, could you remember everybody's name? A difficult one for him.
No, Toe and John have been excellent, and that goes for the whole back four. I thought Saturday, like I said earlier, I thought they dealt with Charlie White really well. I think that's probably one of Joe's best games I've seen him. To be fair, the way he was assured with the ball and the way he handled the big striker. But no, when you've got players in front of you that you can trust, and you've got that, the keeper can then relax a little bit. Like I say, they've dealt with the first ball, second balls, and they can both play out from the back. And again, that's the whole team again where you build it around. And like you say, you've got the character of Joe now, and they say keepers are a different breed, so he's a confident lad. Most keepers are confident. But again, I thought Lewis had done really well as well. So, Lewis has got to keep on his toes now.
In terms of the point itself then, how much can it do for the confidence of the team? It's because they didn't play so well, to still get something from it must do wonders for confidence.
Yeah, it's not an all or nothing situation really. You know, it could have so easily been that it weren't going the way and they could have folded or kind of given up that chase, but it's just showed, and good teams will pick up points when they've not particularly played well, and that was certainly the case on Saturday.
Sunderland always seem to have something in a game against Rovers, whether it's, I think the term was the old man Rovers sometimes. But Rovers also at the other end stayed in the game, didn't they? They didn't let it get away from them. There could have been a chance to push upfield and leave gaps at the other end, but they stayed resolute and sort of didn't give Sunderland much space in the second half.
They didn't at all, and the defence have been fantastic this season, as Andy said. So, yeah, it's to be expected from them really, that level of performance, and as you say, didn't give Sunderland a sniff really.
And with games coming Saturday, Tuesday, getting points on the board, regular butts, can stand you in good stead, and it's probably not until the end of that run of fixtures where you look back and think that was a really good point.
No, the fixture list is congested, and that's why they've got the whole squad there for, and each player will play a part, because it's not often you go through a fixture list like that and not get injuries or knocks or anything like that, or suspension. So the whole squad's got to be ready. But you're right with what you said about Sunderland there. They had a bit of possession, but apart from the goal, which was a wonder strike, I can't really think of many others that they really tested the goalkeeper, if I'm being totally honest. So again, credit to the whole team for keeping the shape and being resolute.
A good result for the first team, and the under-18s have been in action in recent weeks as well. They reached the third round of the FA Youth Cup for the first time in 6 years. A 3-2 win at Hull City last week, and a brilliant penalty save from Ben Bottomley to ensure their progress. But's a brilliant result for the under-18s, playing in a ground like the KCOM as well, and Ben in particular with a penalty save. What have you made of him? He's been on the bench a couple of times for the first team, hasn't he, in recent weeks?
Yeah, I mean, what an arena to play a youth cup fixture as well. I remember when we played Man United at Old Trafford, so you long live a memory, that was years ago. But no, Ben's done excellent. He trained with her a couple of times when the gaffer were away, and we actually finished with a penalty shootout on one day. Little to know that he'd save a penalty, but we finished with a penalty shootout and he saved, I think, 6 out of 8 penalties. So it must have put him in good stead there. But he's done really well. He's improved a lot since he's come back this season, and I think a little bit of freedom was given to him as well. Like, look, this is either you do it or you don't now. It's sink or swim, and I think he's starting to swim and realise that, look, football's a short career and I've got to grasp it with both hands, as a goalkeeper pun.
Do you feel it's a bit of an easier pathway now for the under-18s to show what they can do and get closer to the first team? We've seen Liam Ravenhill making his debut in recent weeks as well, and in recent seasons have been the likes of Reeves Bucock, who's gone on the field. Do you feel that gap's getting smaller and players can sense an opportunity to make a debut for the first team?
I think it comes back to the philosophy of the club, using the academy to bring players in. There has to be a pathway, otherwise academies are pointless. But no, it's down to the players, individuals, and the coaches, giving the right information, the right education about how to play football, and then come in here and like I say, grasp it with both hands, because football's a cutthroat world. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough, and that's simple. So you have to take it on yourself, be as professional as you can. If you're doing extras, do extras. Don't think you're being busy. Come and do extras, because there's only one person that's going to be reflected on, is yourself. I remember when I was younger, I used to get called busy all the time. We used to collect cones in. And now the people that used to call me busy are, no offence to Tesco, but stacking shelves. I'm playing football. I've been for 20 years. They're not.
Hose, do you think the lack of an under-23s team, while it was a downfall for some players, has also been a good thing for the under-18s, because they've not got to keep progressing through certain levels now if they play well for the under-18s, and whether there's injuries or a COVID case that means that a few players are out, there is that chance for them to show what they can do.
I think Liam Ravenhill's probably the example that proves that, really. That in terms of, he's earned it, but he's fast-tracked a lot closer to the first team than perhaps what he would have been if they had been in an under-23 squad. But I think there's just been a general raising of standards over the last few years in terms of the academy set up and getting to that level where you're knocking on the first team door as well. And as Andy says, it's make or break time, and I think that message does get across to him, and that's helping.
A big occasion for Liam when he played against Wolves. Yourself and Cops were both on the pitch that night. How did you, as experienced players, go about helping him and easing him along throughout that game?
Well, I think Cops is a calm influence anyway on the pitch. He helps players out, he talks to them all the time, and we've got other players around there. So you guide them through them a little bit, but again, they're on the pitch because they're good players. It's not because you have to guide them through. They're there on their own merit. And I thought Lee did well. He admittedly tired towards the end of the game, but he's played a lot of football for a young lad, and now he's got under 21 experience from Northern Ireland as well, which is excellent for him. Really pleased for him there. So yeah, he can all stand him in good stead because he's got the pathway. Now he just needs to keep going down it.
Of course, on the bench again on Saturday, wasn't he? Now, Darren Moore heading into another tough game against Blackpool this evening. He says he was pleased to see a different side to his team in the draw against Sunderland.
In terms of the way the game was, we had to grind it out and got that point in terms of that against the level of opposition we played against. So I was really pleased with the players, and we put a line through that one on Saturday. We move on because with Blackpool coming in town tomorrow night, they're in good form. A difficult hurdle for us, really. But, I mean, you can't pick and choose this. It's when the league programmes are there. Neil's done a great job with them and doing a fantastic job with them. And is sort of putting his stamp and authority on the team. And they're doing very, very well at the moment. So they're a team that's in form, playing some great football. And we know that it's going to be another difficult game for us, and a game that we'll have to be well prepared for, and a game that we're going to have to be at our best, really, to come out the game with anything. And Neil's worked very well, equipped really to do the job. And as you've seen, the magnificent work he's doing with the team. And as I said, he's starting to put his stamp of approval on them, and they're doing really, really well at the moment. Got some good players, as you would when you're on that kind of run and form. And as I said, looking at them coming in to town tomorrow, they'll be full of confidence and should be on the run of games that they've been on. But as I said, it's a great hurdle for us. We know it's a difficult one, but we look forward to the game.
Darren Moore talking about his opposite number, Neil Critchley there, Liam. Two managers who've taken similar paths in terms of management from an under-23s team to a first team level, and I think Critchley came into Blackpool just before lockdown, so maybe a bit of a weird one for him and starting and stopping again, but he seems to have got his Blackpool team playing really well now.
He really has, and you get that with your under-23s. You work with your group and you're determined to improve them. That's what they want to do. And he's putting together a squad that's got youth in it as well, which he'll know all about, bringing those players on, like Darren does here. So seems to be doing a good job so far.
Do you think these managers that have been at bigger clubs at top level, albeit at an under-23 section, is so important for them because they have the contacts as well, as we've seen with Darren and some of the loan players brought in? Neil Critchley having been at Liverpool, you know that the good young players at these clubs are going to be filtering down to you in the end.
Yeah, you build those contacts, you build that reputation as well. It's massive. As you say, we've definitely seen that here with the calibre of player that Darren's been able to attract, and I'm sure Blackpool will benefit from that as well.
But Darren also spoke about, as we said before, showing a different side to us against Sunderland. That's been something that's maybe been thrown at Rovers this season, that they haven't been as good when teams sit in and force them to play a little bit differently. But as we've shown that side on Saturday, do you feel that should stand us in good stead now going forward?
Yeah, I think this season's been a different one. Like, you will pick up teams against who press and who sit off, but again, it's all that learning. You have to learn to beat opposition. You have to figure out different ways, and with all the analysis we do and the work we do on the pitch during training, we're more than capable to pick pockets of any team that sits there. Whether you want to press high, we've got players to play through, round over it, or if they sit deep, you keep the ball and frustrate them, and then someone switches off. So you have to have all like aspects covered, in which we do that. So, and we have a general idea what teams are going to do when they come here as well. So again, they think Rovers may be a soft touch, but again, we've just shown you back there with the back four, they're not a soft touch. The midfield always about, and the front three can put anyone under pressure.
Now, Reece James has been Mr. Reliable for Rovers so far this season. Here are his thoughts on the Blackpool game and how he's adapted to a central midfield role in recent weeks.
It's been obviously very different. I've played there previously when I was younger, but obviously not sort of in the professional side of it. So it's been a different change, but it's been great for myself, obviously from a personal side, to know that the gaffer can put the trust in me to play in there. I think obviously it's very different. I think in certain games it's different as well, because obviously the way that they play, the way that they set up, and obviously trying to adapt your own game to that, because I've been so used to sort of seeing the game in front of me, whereas obviously you're now seeing it from the game being played behind you, in front of you, from the side and things like that. I don't think I've checked my shoulders as much in the last 3 games than I've done my entire career. So it's sort of those things that you've got to get used to, and I think it can come with time. But like I say, I'm really pleased and really delighted that the gaff can show the trust in me to play in there. I think it's just like I say, it's adapting the game and sort of understanding those positions. I think when you're in the deeper role, it can be a little bit more where you're trying to get on the ball from the defenders, whereas if you're more in the eights, it's a bit more playing higher up. Obviously, that's quite new to me, because beforehand I'd not really played that position. It had been more the deeper role. So I think that's been a test for myself. And like I say, it's just trying to see as much as you can and try and learn from players, ask players questions, which I've done in the changing rooms. Even with my brother, I've asked for as much advice as possible to try and see what you can do and what you can bring to your own game. And I think it'll only come with the more games that I play in there, the better it can try and get. And obviously the more pressure comes with that as well. I think obviously Blackpool have been on a really good run lately. The gaffers implemented that and told us all about it, which obviously you've got to respect your opponents, but also at the same time you've got to think about how we can affect the game. We're a good team, and we've got to make sure that they think about us as much as we think about them.
So Liam, Reece been a really important player for Rovers so far this season. He's been left back, left midfield, more recently in central midfield, but somebody who's good on the ball anyway, and he's been a really important asset for Rovers in recent weeks.
It's been massive, and it's given Darren that option, the horses for courses option that he talks about quite a lot. But yeah, very, very good on the ball, comfortable on the ball, neat and tidy, and that's so important for various different challenges that you're going to come up against.
But in your experience, when you play in different positions that you maybe not used to, how much does that change things, maybe off the ball as well as on it?
Yeah, at first you feel lost, but I think with, like I say, the work they do on the training pitch, they get the information how to play it and what to do once you've got the ball. I think with Reece, is capable in any position. I think he's good going forward, he's good defending, and he's very good on the ball. So you look at all those things, and a player like that should be able to play anywhere, whether it's in sitting midfielder or left back or, like I say, left forward. He's got all parts to his game, which means he can play that. Not like someone like me, whereas I'm a centre half. I know I'm a centre half. I'm not going to play left wing, but if you're more than capable of doing every position, then you should be able to.
I think he said in press as well, Liam, that one of the most important things is checking your shoulder when you're in central midfield. When he's out here on the wing, whether that's in defence or going forward, he can see the whole pitch, whereas you move into the middle of the park and all of a sudden you have to make sure you know what's behind you as well.
Yeah, and that so much of the game does go on behind you the further up you're up the pitch, so that's been something for him to get used to, but he's done really well with it. I thought in that game against Wolves under 21s, in the absence of Ben Whiteman, he kind of played the Ben Whiteman role and did really well in terms of dictating play on that one, so that was good to see as well.
But we know his quality, Reece, but his experience as well, and how he's taken to the role, probably not kicked up a fuss, got on with it, played really well there. And now, even when the left-back role does become available, Darren Moore's probably got a decision to make as to whether he moves him out of there again.
Again, it comes down to the character of play you bring into the club and whether they can fill those positions, and they do. But just going back on that, you talk about receiving different areas. You do that in academy football as well. So Liam will be asked to play right back because you see the picture from a different view. You'll be asked to play centre forward because you receive it differently. So again, going back to the academy way, they're all taught different positions early on to see pictures from different places. So again, Reece has had that good education in his football.
On to the game tonight then. How do you see it playing out? The pair of you, obviously Blackpool. I'll come to you first, Jose. Obviously Butts is going to be involved, so maybe a tough question, but how do you see it playing out?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think you can pretty much guarantee that Rovers will be competitive in it because they have been against the top teams. There is no fear for any team coming here from a Rovers perspective because whatever teams come, whatever form that they've been in, they've done absolutely fantastic against. I think Rovers will have all the confidence that they need and go out and they'll have a really good go.
Prediction from you?
I think they might win. I predicted a win on Saturday, but I'm going to go for. I'm going to go 2-1 again.
But I won't ask you for a prediction, but has the mood in camp just got to be following on that momentum from the late goal on Saturday?
Yeah, again, you respect Blackpool for what they are and how they approach the game, but you look and see weaknesses in their shape, which they'll do through us. And you have to believe, you have a self-belief about yourself, you have that little aura. We're at home again, so we'll take the game to them and see what happens.
Liam, Butts, thanks for your company and thank you at home for watching as well. Head over to iFollow Rovers now, full exclusive, full match commentary. It's Rovers against Blackpool from 7 p.m.